Nearly 12 years have passed since the initial release of Dark Souls. Yes, Dark Souls Remastered was released in 2018, but Q-Law, the company responsible for developing the remastered version of the game, astonishingly decided to make no changes to the gameplay, aside from the graphics and frame rate. In summary, the game is original Dark Souls Prepared to Die edition with all its shortcomings, such as 4-directional rolling when locked on, or not being able to reset your stats, along with all the bugs. So we're to ask one question today. Is Dark Souls still worth buying and trying out in 2023? Hello everyone, my name is Oxo and today I'll try to answer that question for you. Let's get into the video without further ado. The Dark Souls series, developed by From Software, is renowned for its challenging gameplay and deep lore, but equally remarkable is its map design. Unlike many modern games that offer linear pathways, Dark Souls provides a world that is interwoven, mysterious, and interconnected. From the very start, paths intertwine and loop around in surprising ways. Remember that moment you found that hidden elevator and suddenly you're back at a familiar bonfire? These shortcuts not only provide a sense of discovery, but also serve a functional purpose, creating a cohesive and organic world. The game has been meticulously crafted to provide players with a rich and immersive exploration experience. But Dark Souls doesn't hold your hand. The maps encourage exploration, risk-taking, and learning through trial and error. Hidden paths, concealed treasures, and obscure lores entice the players to look beyond the obvious routes. This promotes a gameplay experience that feels personal and rewarding, as each player may uncover something different, making the experience ever so unique. Every nook and cranny in Dark Souls tells a story. The environment isn't just a backdrop, it's a character in itself. From the ever-glowing sunshine of once glorious Anor Londo to the oppressive darkness of the catacombs. From the verdant, toxic decadence of Blighttown to the scorching crimson rocks and lava fields of Lost Isolate. Each area provides a unique aesthetics and thematic experience, with well-placed dropped items and specific NPCs or creatures contributing to the environmental storytelling. Environmental storytelling is a less direct but more explicit ways of describing events by showing the final outcome of a sequence of events through buildings and well-placed items, and then inviting players to make up their own stories about what happened to cause that outcome. The final interpretation of the tableau is left to the player. Dark Souls also offers intricate gameplay mechanics that allow for a deep and multifaceted experience. Players can choose from a wide range of weapons, armors, spells, and playstyles. This fosters experimentation and rewards players' creativity while also increasing the replayability value of the game itself. The difficulty in Dark Souls is often praised for being tough but fair. Each defeat teaches the player something new, encouraging them to adapt and overcome death. This creates a rewarding learning curve that feels satisfying. There might be fortresses or enemies within the game that might feel insurmountable at first, but once you accept the fact that dying is a part of the game, there is nothing within the game that you will not be able to overcome. Dark Souls is not a game that requires mechanical skill, but rather mental fortitude. As Miyazaki once stated, it was never about the difficulty, it was always about your experience. The game offers a wide array of foes, each with unique behaviors and attack patterns. This keeps combat fresh and engaging throughout the entire game. Combat in Dark Souls requires thought, timing, and strategy. Your stamina is limited, and every mistake you make within the battle sequence might lead you straight to death. Do you roll? Do you attack? Do you sip on Estus? Do you block or parry? Button mashing will rarely get you far, players must learn to read their enemies and respond appropriately, making every victory feel earned and rewarding. Again, the flexibility in building your character allows for various combat approaches. Whether you prefer melee, ranged, magic, or hybrid style, Dark Souls accommodates it all. Of course, the game is not without its flaws. The 4-directional rolling system, when locked onto an enemy, is an outdated and restricted system. It can be detrimental to your game plans if you're unable to roll in the direction you first intended to, especially in places where falling off could result in death. This is a really frustrating feature, as Qlog refused to fix this feature and modernize the game. I do not find this feature fun or enjoyable in any way. It is only annoying. You also can't reset your stats in this game just like you would in Dark Souls 2 and 3. I've previously mentioned that there is some flexibility when it comes to different types of builds, but this flexibility is limited because it is difficult to switch between builds with a single character. I'm still baffled by the fact that Qlog decided not to add this feature into the remastered version. Finally, the game's hardcore and difficult nature may be a turnoff for some players. For newcomers, the complexity of Dark Souls mechanics may be overwhelming. The game does little to explain itself, which can lead to frustration for those not used to this kind of challenge. Some players find the complexity of Dark Souls map design overwhelming and disorienting. The lack of clear guidance can lead to frustration. However, for many, these challenges are part of what makes game an unforgettable experience. Games are designed to be enjoyed and remembered in a positive light. While some players accept death as part of the game and exploration, others find it frustrating, a nuisance at best. If a game is causing you so much stress that you feel immense anger while playing, especially if it's a single player game, I believe you should stop playing and find a different genre of game. It most definitely does not mean that you're too weak or bad at the game, it simply means that this is not your cup of tea. To return to the original question, is Dark Souls still worth buying in 2023, 12 years after its initial release? My answer is, of course, absolutely. Although some of the mechanics and system may be outdated, the game's many positive aspects far outweigh its flaws. And while the world design, especially near the end of the game, may see a steep decline in quality, I still believe that Dark Souls 1 has one of the best level designs, along with Bloodborne, of any 3D game. All the potential unforgettable gaming moments and unique experiences are out there, if you seek for them.
Yes, indeed.
Anyways, that concludes the video. If you've enjoyed it, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and as always, I'll see you all very soon.